just this morning. August 5th, 2025, President Donald Trump was spotted pacing the White House roof, overseeing a $200 million renovation project, shouting to reporters that he funds everything himself. Anything I do is financed by me. But behind this bold display, is Donald Trump steering America toward a risky gamble with national security as his tariff and immigration policies threaten to shake the economy from Nebraska's farms to the pharmaceutical supply chain? This isn't just an odd moment, it's a snapshot of a resolute yet polarizing leader shaping America's future amid global trade tensions and domestic challenges. In today's video, we'll dive into the truth behind Donald Trump's recent CNBC appearance, where he claimed migrants naturally excel at farm work and proposed tariffs up to 250% on imported pharmaceuticals. We'll unpack the timeline of events from his rooftop remarks to his EU $600 billion deal claims while analyzing their real impact on economic security, like Nebraska's GDP dropping 6.1% in Q1 2025, leaving farmers like those in Omaha struggling with job losses and rising costs. Is Donald Trump's America First agenda safeguarding our nation or inadvertently weakening its foundation? If you're an American patriot worried about where Donald Trump is leading this country, hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with hard-hitting analyses like this. Share this video with friends because national security starts with knowing the truth. Let's dive into the details. Donald Trump's blunt remarks about migrants being naturally suited for farm work highlight the critical role they play in America's food supply. But his choice of words risks deepening division and overshadowing a serious issue tied to national security. In a recent CNBC interview, Donald Trump praised migrant workers, saying they do it naturally for tough farm jobs, while suggesting people from inner cities aren't suited for such work. He even remarked that if migrants get a bad back, they die, implying their resilience. Government data shows over half of U.S. farm workers are Hispanic, many undocumented, making them vital to harvesting crops like corn and soybeans. Meanwhile, a Nebraska Republican congressman recently shared that farmers in his state depend heavily on these workers, but trade disruptions are costing jobs. Critics have called Trump's comments racially charged, especially for implying inner-city communities, often minority groups, can't handle farm labor. Here's the reality. Donald Trump is pointing to a hard truth: without migrant workers, America's farms could grind to a halt, threatening the food supply that keeps our nation secure. Imagine grocery shelves empty of bread or beef. That's a national security issue. But his words, like inner city or they die, come across as cold, even divisive, turning a policy discussion into a cultural flashpoint. Farmers in places like Omaha are already struggling with trade barriers. They need labor solutions, not rhetoric that alienates allies. Past trade policies under Trump cost farmers billions in losses, and tightening immigration could make things worse, with projections of a 20% labor shortage in agriculture soon. Is Donald Trump fighting for rural America, or is his style creating more problems than it solves? Now, let's turn to another bold move by Trump: his plan to slap massive tariffs on pharmaceuticals. Could this bring jobs back, or just hit your wallet harder? If you know a farmer, how do they feel about migrant workers? Share their story in the comments. Trump's push for steep tariffs on imported pharmaceuticals aims to bring manufacturing back to America, strengthening economic security. But it could drive up drug prices, hitting seniors hardest and testing the balance between jobs and affordability. Trump recently announced plans for tariffs on pharmaceuticals, starting small but climbing to 150% and even 250% within a couple of years, to force companies to make drugs in the U.S. This targets reliance on foreign countries, which produce most of America's drug ingredients. Analysts warn these tariffs could raise prescription drug prices by 10 to 20%, a tough blow for seniors on fixed incomes, like those in Florida who've saved thousands through better Medicare plans. Supporters argue the policy could create tens of thousands of U.S. jobs, pointing to Trump's goal of reducing dependence on global supply chains. Critics, however, say it's inflationary, recalling how past tariffs under Trump raised prices on everyday goods like cars. Here's what's at stake. National security means having medicine we can count on. Pandemics showed us what happens when foreign supplies dry up. Donald Trump's tariffs could rebuild American factories, creating jobs and safeguarding our health system, but at what cost? If you're a senior in Ohio scraping by, a 20% hike in heart medication or insulin could be devastating. Past tariffs under Trump added hundreds to car prices, and drugs could follow. The question is whether America can afford to prioritize factories over affordable meds, or if there's a way to have both. Trump's vision is bold, but without a clear plan to protect consumers, it's a gamble that could hurt the most vulnerable. Let's step back and look at Trump's bigger claims, his poll numbers, and economic wins. Is he as popular as he says, or is the economy telling a different story? Have drug prices already stretched your budget? Drop your experience below, we want to hear it. Donald Trump's boasts about sky-high poll numbers and a booming economy paint him as a confident leader. But the data showing low approval and economic struggles raises doubts about whether his policies are strengthening or risking America's stability. In his CNBC call, Trump claimed he has the best poll numbers ever, boasting near universal support among Republicans and dismissing job reports as rigged. Polls actually show his approval rating in the high 30s, strong with Republicans but weak with independents. Economic data paints a mixed picture. Job growth was weaker than expected last year, with a significant downward revision, and Nebraska's economy shrank over 6% recently. Tied to trade disruptions, a Republican congressman from Nebraska admitted farmers are facing a troubled economic mess. Trump also touted a massive investment deal with the EU, but reports suggest no firm agreement exists. Polls show Democrats slightly ahead for the upcoming midterms, threatening Republican seats in places like Texas. Listen to this. Donald Trump's confidence calling America the hottest country fires up his base. But the numbers don't lie. Farmers in Nebraska are losing ground, with corn exports down sharply due to trade barriers. The job revisions Trump calls rigged are standard practice seen under past presidents too. His EU deal sounds like a win, but without details, it's more promise than reality. With Democrats gaining in polls, Republicans could lose key seats in the next election. This matters for national security. Economic weakness fuels unrest, and trade wars could strain alliances. Is Trump's optimism driving America forward, or masking cracks that could hurt us all? These policies set up big questions about America's future. Let's explore what they mean long-term. Do you feel Trump's economic claims match your reality? Share your thoughts below. Let's bring it all together. Donald Trump's bold moves, from his rooftop declarations to his CNBC rants about migrants, tariffs, and economic wins, paint a picture of a leader determined to put America first. He's pushing for more U.S. jobs, a stronger food supply, and less reliance on foreign drugs, all tied to national security. But the numbers tell a tougher story. His approval hovers in the high 30s. Nebraska's farmers are reeling from a 6% economic drop, and his massive EU deal lacks concrete details. These policies could either rebuild America's foundation or widen cracks that threaten our stability. Higher drug prices, strained trade, and lost seats in places like Texas for the 2026 midterms. The stakes are high. If tariffs backfire, seniors could face unaffordable meds, and farmers could lose more ground, weakening the food and health systems we rely on. This isn't just about Trump, it's about whether his vision will secure America or spark new risks, like trade wars that strain our alliances. Don't miss out. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on how Donald Trump's policies shape our future. Visit our store for USA-made gear to support the channel. Next, we'll dive into how Trump's tariffs could shake up NATO and global security. Here's the big question. Do you think Donald Trump's leadership is strengthening America, or are we headed for trouble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your story about how these changes hit your community. Let's keep the truth alive, together.